Your subconscious isn't just a collection of beliefs. It's entangled with your future, and if you don't understand how to shift that link, you'll keep reliving the same reality, over and over again, even when you think you've changed. Most people never realize this, because the loop feels like life. It feels like routine. It feels like personality. It feels like this is just how things are for me. But behind the familiar, there's a pattern. Behind your thoughts, a frequency. And behind that frequency, a code. And that code, right now, is being broadcast by a version of you that you don't consciously remember choosing. There's a field running in the background of your mind, a hidden architecture shaping what you attract, how you feel, and who you believe yourself to be. It doesn't respond to your words. It doesn't care about what you want. It responds to what you are beneath the story. It responds to the entanglement. What you're about to hear is not a lesson, it's a reveal. A reveal of the invisible mechanism that binds your subconscious to repeating timelines, and how to start breaking free. Not by force, but by frequency. Because once you understand how the field really works, you don't chase change anymore. You become the code itself. You've probably heard the term quantum entanglement before. Maybe in a documentary, maybe in some spiritual content. It sounds complex, futuristic, scientific, but also abstract. What if I told you it's not abstract at all? That it's not just about subatomic particles floating in deep space, behaving mysteriously? What if quantum entanglement is happening inside you, right now, and you're feeling its effects every single day, without knowing it? Let's break the myth. In basic terms, quantum entanglement is when two particles become connected in such a way that the state of one instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. But he was wrong about one thing. It's not spooky, it's precise. It's the blueprint of the universe. And more importantly, it's the blueprint of your mind. Because what scientists are discovering, and what mystics have known for centuries, is that entanglement doesn't stop at particles. It happens at the level of thought, emotion, identity. It happens at the level of memory, of belief, of energetic resonance. Every experience you've had, every trauma, every decision, every feeling you didn't express, it didn't disappear. It got entangled. And here's the dangerous part. It got entangled with you, across time, with versions of yourself that still exist, with timelines that are still open, with possibilities you've never consciously accessed, but are looping in your subconscious right now. This is not metaphor, this is field science. Because when a particle becomes entangled, it no longer holds its own isolated state. It shares information, instantly, simultaneously, across what we perceive as space and time. And you, as a vibrational being, are no different. You are not isolated. You are not separate. You are not even linear. You are an entangled system of thoughts, memories, intentions, patterns, fears, desires, and frequencies. You are broadcasting codes into the field and receiving codes back based on who and what you are entangled with. So let me ask you, have you ever felt like you were reliving something over and over again? Like no matter how much you change, something pulls you back? That's not a block. That's a quantum tether. A silent connection between you and a version of your life that never truly ended. One that still echoes. In your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. You try to grow. You try to shift. You do the inner work. But deep down, something resists. That resistance isn't laziness. It's not weakness. It's the entanglement. It's the emotional field looping an outdated frequency. One that no longer matches the you that you're becoming. And unless you collapse the bond, unless you shift the frequency of the loop, you'll keep sinking back to that version of reality, like a magnetic pull, like gravity, but invisible. Here's what most people get wrong. They think they need to fix themselves, rewrite their beliefs, say better affirmations, visualize harder. But quantum entanglement doesn't respond to conscious will. It responds to vibrational coherence. That means your subconscious field, your deep emotional and energetic baseline, must be tuned to a new signal. Not temporarily, not occasionally, but stabilized. And here's the twist. You don't need to find the entangled version of yourself and cut it off. You need to transmute it. You need to communicate with it. You need to shift its frequency from within the field, because you're not just entangled with your past. You're also entangled with your potential, with your higher path, with the you that already exists in a reality of coherence, expansion, and alignment. That version is not waiting for you. It's already broadcasting. But you can't hear it. If you're still entangled with noise, you must tune in. And tuning in isn't about doing more. It's about becoming still enough to feel the code. In the next chapter, we're going to explore something even more subtle and more powerful. How your subconscious mind became entangled in the first place. And why, until you shift that hidden programming, your conscious efforts will always be overridden by something deeper. Because once you see how the code was installed, you can finally begin to rewrite it, not by force, but through alignment. Get ready. There's something you've believed most of your life. It's the belief that your thoughts are your own, that your mind belongs to you, that what you think, want, or choose is coming from your conscious self. But that's not true. And deep down, you felt it. You felt it every time you made a decision that made no sense, every time you sabotaged what you said you wanted, every time your body reacted before your thoughts could explain it. That's not you failing. That's you living from a mind that was never entirely yours to begin with. Because before you had language, before you had identity, you had programming. From your family, from your culture, from everything you absorbed through emotion, sensation, and frequency. And those early impressions, most of them received before age 7, became entangled into your field as unquestioned truth. Not truth because they were real. Truth because they were repeated. And repetition, in the quantum field, is code. See, your subconscious doesn't learn by logic. It learns by rhythm, by exposure, by resonance. Whatever it feels most often, it interprets as safe. And whatever is safe, it defends, even if it's destroying you. This is why so many people feel blocked when they try to change. They say things like, I don't know why I keep attracting the same type of relationship. I want abundance, but I sabotage every opportunity. I'm trying to be different, but I feel pulled back into who I used to be. That pull? That's the entangled mind at work. Your subconscious doesn't care what you want. It cares what you've been trained to expect. And until you shift that expectation at the frequency level, you'll keep recreating familiar loops with new faces, new jobs, new spiritual tools, but the same emotional signature. The truth is, your mind has been colonized, not by a person, not by a force, but by a repetition of low-frequency programming. And here's the hard part. Some of that programming feels like your personality. Some of it feels like your intuition. Some of it even feels like truth. But it's not. It's protection. A survival mechanism built inside a version of you that only ever learned how to cope. Not how to expand. Not how to choose. Not how to align with the version of reality where you already are free. But if your mind is so deeply entangled with what it learned from pain, how do you reclaim it? You don't fight it. You don't shame it. You don't try to outthink the field. You make a choice to remember that your subconscious isn't just a database, it's a transmitter. And what it transmits becomes your life. And here's the key most people never hear. Your subconscious mind isn't just programmed by your past. It's tuned by your entanglements, meaning the people you're connected to, the energies you engage with, the memories you rehearse, the emotions you revisit in silence. They all send signals back into your field. And if you never clear those lines, you keep receiving feedback from an outdated version of yourself. One that no longer matches the reality you say you want. So the question is not, how do I think better thoughts? The question is, who or what is my mind still entangled with? Because it could be a memory, a version of you, a parent, a trauma, a silence that was never broken, an identity that was never questioned. And until you bring coherence to that connection, it will keep redirecting your energy back into the loop. But here's the breakthrough. You are not your patterns. You are not your programming. You are not the echo. You are the signal. And when the signal gets clear, the field responds. The mind shifts. The body aligns. The reality bends. In the next chapter, we go there. You'll learn the actual method to begin untangling from outdated frequencies and how to align your subconscious field with the reality your soul has already chosen, but your mind hasn't caught up with yet. It's not about doing more. It's about tuning in to what's already broadcasting. Just outside of your current range, we'll step into that next, because once you feel the frequency of who you truly are, the mind no longer resists. It remembers. Now that you understand the field, now that you feel the entanglement, you're ready to shift. But not the way the world taught you. This isn't about forcing change. It's not about repeating new affirmations or writing down goals in a journal. Because the subconscious field doesn't respond to words, it responds to frequency, and that frequency must be encoded through sensation, emotion, and presence. That's how we recode. But first, something important. You can't shift what you still identify with. So before we do anything, you need to choose. You need to make the conscious decision to release your current identity as the ultimate source of truth. Not because it's wrong, but because it's incomplete. The you that has lived this far was necessary. It survived. It navigated pain. It held it all together. But it was wired to a version of reality that no longer serves who you are becoming. And so, the shift begins. Here. Right now. Take a deep breath. Inhale slowly. And exhale fully. Let the body soften. Let the jaw unclench. Let the shoulders melt. Feel gravity holding you. And now. Imagine this. There is a thread of light running through your spine, from the top of your head to the base of your body. This thread is the signal, the carrier of code, the link between your field and the greater field. Now visualize this thread beginning to pulse, slowly, rhythmically, like a heartbeat. With every pulse, a wave of energy expands outward, and it starts to clear static. Static from old loops, old entanglements, old identities. You're not erasing them. You're acknowledging them, and choosing something different. Now bring your attention to your chest, right at the center, the heart. Imagine this point as a transmitter, capable of emitting a coherent signal into the quantum field. Now ask yourself, not with your mind, but with your energy. What reality have I been broadcasting that I no longer wish to repeat? Don't answer with words. Let the feeling arise. Let the truth rise in silence. And now, with that awareness present, bring in the new frequency. Not a fantasy, not a future, but the version of you that already exists in alignment, clarity, love, and flow. See them, feel them, breathe with them. And now, breathe as them. Feel their breath in your lungs, their confidence in your posture, their stillness in your chest. Let it happen now. Let the merge begin, not as a mental concept, but as a frequency match. You're not imagining, you're tuning. You are syncing your subconscious field with a timeline that already exists, one that's been waiting for you to remember. And in this moment, you do. Now, silently or out loud, repeat the following phrase. But only if you mean it. I release the loop. I reclaim the code. I return to alignment. Again, let it vibrate in you. I release the loop. I reclaim the code. I return to alignment. Feel it echo across your system. And now, one more breath. Inhale deeply. Hold. Exhale slowly. Let the shift integrate. This is not the end. This is the opening. Because you've just emitted a new signal, one the field will respond to, but only if you remain coherent with it. This is the real work. Not repeating steps, but embodying a new frequency as your baseline state. It doesn't require perfection. It requires presence, because when you hold the signal long enough, the feedback changes. Reality reorders, the field responds, the entanglement shifts, and suddenly, you're no longer trying to escape a version of your life. You're simply no longer a match for it. This is quantum recoding, not forcing new outcomes, but collapsing old timelines by becoming incompatible with their vibration. And the more you stabilize in this coherence, the more invisible changes start becoming visible. People shift, opportunities appear, thoughts rewire, emotions soften. It's not magic. It's resonance, and it begins with one choice: to hold the new frequency long enough, to become it. In the final chapter, we bring it all together, because there's one last truth to remember, one last activation to ignite. And once you integrate it, you won't just shift your reality, you'll shift who you are within it. And from there, everything begins to respond. Now that you've felt the shift, now that you've breathed as the version of yourself who remembers, you're ready for the final code. But before we activate it, you need to hear this truth. Not with your mind, but with your whole field. You were never broken. There was never anything wrong with you. Every loop you lived, every timeline you repeated, every pattern you couldn't explain, they weren't punishments. They were codes sent by your subconscious, trying to keep you safe the only way it knew how. Because the mind doesn't cling to pain out of cruelty. It clings to pain out of familiarity. And in the quantum field, familiarity is power. Whatever your system recognizes as known, even if it's chaos, it will recreate. Not because you want it, but because your field believes that's who you are. But that belief, that signal, is no longer yours to carry, because now, you've remembered the truth, that you are not the echo, you are the frequency, you are not the loop. You are the one who chooses what's worth looping. And now, you choose different. You choose coherence. You choose clarity. You choose alignment. And most of all, you choose to become a conscious transmitter in the field. Because here's what they never told you. The field is not separate from you. It's not something out there. It's not the universe watching from above. You are the field. You are the feedback loop. You are the code, the signal, the observer, and the outcome. When you shift your coherence, you shift your gravity. And when your gravity changes, reality starts orbiting something else. You don't need to fight for a new life. You need to stabilize a new frequency, and the rest will rearrange. But here's the final code, the one hidden beneath all others. Nothing outside of you changes until you become incompatible with who you used to be. That's the real detachment, not from people, not from outcomes, but from the identity that kept you entangled with limitation. You're not waiting for a better version of life. You're simply no longer matching the broadcast of the old one. And the moment you truly understand that, not just intellectually, but vibrationally, everything around you begins to respond. People treat you differently. You speak with more clarity. Synchronicities appear. Resistance dissolves. Not because reality changed, but because you did. You became the new signal. And the field, as it always does, obeyed. So now, breathe into this final truth. I no longer run from the loop. I no longer resist the field. I become the code. One more time, breathe with it. I am the code. This isn't a technique, it's a remembering. The remembering that your subconscious is not your enemy. It's your amplifier, and now, it's tuned. From this moment forward, you're not just thinking different. You're vibrating different. And that difference is what reality mirrors. If you felt this, if something inside you shifted during this journey, don't let it be just another video you watched. Let this be the moment your field changed and never went back. And if you're walking this path with me, if you're ready to stay in this frequency and grow into it daily, comment below. I collapsed the old code. Let me know you're here. Let me feel your presence in this field. Because this isn't content, this is communion. And if you're ready to continue, if you want more than videos, if you want to build this new frequency with me, step by step, subscribe now. Not as a click, but as a choice. This space, this channel, is a signal. And those who stay, shift. You are the field. You are the code. You are the choice point. And now, it begins.